Yes, guys, I'm back, and I've not been around for a while. Just I've had a lot going on. My auntie passed away last week, and for the past few months, obviously we've got a big project going on. I mentioned AO trading, so it's been pretty tough to try and get on, to YouTube and to record a video. But I'm back now. I'm gonna try and get videos out every single week, just to help you guys to navigate this crypto market. Because I've been watching a few other channels, and if I'm being honest with you guys, some of these guys are absolutely full of, well, not good stuff. So yeah, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on BTC today. I'm gonna go through that. I'm gonna have a little look at total, look at dominance, and look at USDT dominance as well. So lock in, guys, and let's navigate these charts together. So I'm on BTC on the weekly chart. As we can see, in these zones here, I've got levels marked out. Let me just remove them a minute. These are the weekly levels that I've got marked out at the minute. And we are losing a really high time frame support area here, which is around 73,000 at the minute. We are losing that. If this week, and we're on Thursday, if we close below this zone, there is a really big possibility that BTC is gonna come down towards this area. People don't want to hear it, but I try and tell you the truth as much as I possibly can. This area here could be a significant zone. If we actually look at the correction that's gone on with BTC, this at the minute is around 45% correction. And we can go back to the stages before, where we had this top and then a top, and that were around a 56% correction. The only thing that is worrying me at the minute is the way we're moving. And if we look here, so we had the top, and then we had a 32% correction. Same with this were around about a 55% correction. And then if we look here again, that correction were around 78%-ish. If we are going to get something like that, I'm not saying it is going to do that, but what I am saying is, if we get, say, 58, maybe a 60, come and sweep this area here, then that's going to bring BTC to around 49k. I know people don't want to hear that, but there is this area here is significant. So if we get a volume profile from this area where we initially had the breakout, there's a lot of volume in here. And that's why it wouldn't surprise me, if BTC, messed around here for a little bit under this area, then eventually came down, swept into the zone, and then we get a reclaim, and then up we go. This might take around about a year to happen, but as of now, I'm in cash. I'm waiting for these areas to start buying BTC. Well, this is a significant area that's not been tested yet. So we're going to see our buyers still present in that area. And if we look at the top area before we had the breakdown, there wasn't a lot of volume there compared to here where we are there. Look at the volume difference. There's not a lot, you know, and you can actually even look at it from the candle. You know, 21k. It's probably going to be around about the same 13, 10, 13, 20 were the most, but it were bearish volume. Where we are now, very high volume coming in, selling volume around about 24k again. The initial breakout, you know, you're looking at it's averaging around 20 something k every time it breaks out or breaks down. So like I say, it won't surprise me if BTC starts to play around in this zone for a little bit, flushes, comes back up, reclaims, and then goes again. If not, I have got another area that I'm looking at, and it's around here. Let me just mark out that area there. And here. Get my magnet. I have got another area if we fail to hold that area, which is around 40k. I know many people don't want to wear that, and I'm not saying it's going to go to 40k tomorrow. It's not. But what I am saying is you need to be prepared for this, because BTC has a big tendency to crash. And if you look where it went to previously, where we had that massive breakout, it came back towards this area here. I just mark out that area there. You know, if you look, that's where BTC came back to. If we're looking at the area where we are right now, and we mark out the candle around here potentially, or here, this is going to take us back towards the 50k zone. Which is not a bad thing. Everybody thinks it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You're going to get BTC cheap. And I do reckon at some point we're going to be hitting these higher levels. I do know one thing. Mr. Sailor's not going to be happy at the minute that we're back down here. And that's another problem. The amount that Sailor has bought, if he chooses to sell any of this chart is going to do something like that. Excuse me. We just need to be careful with Michael Saylor wanting people to pump his bags. That's all they want. You know, the same with Eve, the other guy that bought. And like I said, I just keep watching these other YouTube channels as well, and they're so full of crap. They haven't got a clue what they're going on about. Genuinely, they've not got the foggiest what they're going on about. So this is what you really want to avoid. So these are the weekly levels that I've got marked out. Close them off. These are my dailies. These are my daily levels at the minute. So, you know, these could be something that where you want to start to build your longs. I'm looking at around 59k to start building my long. 49k, I've got a DCA. And if we do drop further, I do have other DCA points to buy BTC at the minute. We'll just save that, come off of that. It's the same with gold, silver, you know, just looking at silver. I had these areas of interest and, you know, it's tagged it, failed and dropped again. So it's potentially coming back toward this area in silver around $70. Losing that area could significantly take us down to around 61-ish, potentially 58, where the initial breakout happened. So this is what we've got to be wary of. You know, the initial breakout was around here. So it wouldn't surprise me if silver wants to come back and test that breakout. Test, you know, these people. But, you know, there's another thing that we're pointing out. Cancel that a minute. I said it. When did I say it? I think it was a few months back when BTC were at, you know, the tops. I did say that, you know, we're potentially going to have a drop back towards the 70k area. And nobody wanted to believe it. But we've done that. And I'm not saying that, you know, I know everything, because I don't. I'm not saying I do. But what I am saying is these levels of interest have been tagged now. So I've got some more levels of interest that I am looking at a little bit lower. And we, you know, we've got things like this, 3 billion in outflows. You know, people are panicking and they want to get out of it. And that's generally what you'll see with BTC. The thing that, you know, confused me, you got Powell, you know, saying we need to calm down, we're cutting the interest rates, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got Trump saying, I'll sack you if you don't. That's not really healthy for these markets. So we need to be careful. And then the other guy that is appointed, he's even more hawky. So it's just, it's just a crazy, crazy place we're in at the minute with the markets. You know, I'd really want to see BTC try and create a bottom around this area here, which is going to be another, you know, we might come back, test that 73. You know, that'll be another 32% correction, which overall will be around about 60% correction, which is lovely. You know, we want that. And then we start to load up on BTC around here. You know, and if you look, the volume, even though the chart's been going up, the volume has continued to decline. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Let's have a look at total. Said I'll have a little look at total. And I had these areas marked out. 3.2 trillion were an area of interest. And it hit it, struggled, and then came round to around 2.3 trillion. I did point this out in our group. But nobody wants to believe it. They're like, and I'm not saying, you know, all these people are bad people, because they're not bad people. What I'm saying is people don't want to believe that markets have corrections like this. BTC is the most volatile asset going. And I don't understand why people are forgetting that. And then you've got dominance declining, but altcoins are not pumping. You've got USDT dominance absolutely tanking at the minute. You know, and I've had these levels marked out for a while now. And we've tagged these levels. And then we've moved off. And the next level of interest, if we hold here, next level of interest is 8.5% in USDT dominance. So, you know, be very wary of that. These are another level a little bit further up at about 9. So if we hold this area, then that's the next area, 8.5% in USDT dominance. You know, this is just basically telling you that everybody's in USDT dominance, they're in the stable, and they're holding out. You've got ETH that I did point out. ETH also losing a key level, could take us back down towards 1,300. If it plays around under here, and then we have the drop. Well, I've also got another thing to show you. So, oh, wrong one. Don't want to know about the Coinbase bit stamp. So, I'm going to show you something here. So what I did was, I inverted the chart. There's the inversion. But invert scale. I know for a fact people would want to long this when we break the neckline, yeah? So you've got your shoulder, your head, and your shoulder. Yes? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Once we break that neckline, then you're going to be taking a long eye. And what you're going to be looking for, you're going to be looking for that area there. So I've inverted that chart there. So if we're actually having a look at that, then what's the most likely outcome? It's a long. Correct? It's a long. So why, on this inversion that I'm doing now, why are people wanting to short if that's a long? So I do it the other way around. Why are people wanting to long when technically that's a short? Just from a technical point. It's just something to think about that, most traders are trading patterns, and that there is a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. Break of the neckline, and then we continue down. Just on my personal opinion, that's what people should really be looking at. And what catalyst is there for BTC at the minute? So here, we had the pump, yeah. We had ETF, pump, Trump coming into, office, pump, reversed most of the pump. And then obviously all these bills that he were coming out with, and then we had another pump. Now, what's the catalyst for BTC? I can't think of any. There's no real catalyst. It's just pretty similar to down here. The ETF news, was big. And that's really what did what it did. That's what did that. And, if you're crying over a 725% move, there's something wrong with you if you're crying about that. So, a 60%, 70% correction from all-time high, 50, 60, even a 70 to come and sweep that low, test this area here. Not really going to be that, big, unless you've longed BTC up here. Then, you're underwater significantly. But it will come back at some point. It will. BTC does this. Comes down, tests these areas, starts to go sideways, sweeps lows, sweeps lows, sweeps lows, breaks the structure, holds the structure, and then away we go. Just like we're doing right now, we're breaking the structure, hold the structure, and then we go down a little bit further. So just food for thought, guys. Like I say, it's not going to be a big one today. We looked at BTC dominance, USDT dominance. We looked at total. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on BTC at the minute. I also think gold is also going to have a major correction at some point. We've already started to see that we are, we want to break this structure and hold this structure below us, to drop potentially back towards 3K in gold. That's my personal opinion. GBTC is just getting absolutely wrecked at the minute. So, it's one of them things. Like I say, this is just my personal opinion. You have to believe what I'm saying. I don't expect you to believe what I'm saying. So, you know, and now they're all coming out with, they're trying to think of catalysts to try and pump these charts. Fortunately, I can't see any at the minute, so I will keep an eye on that, and then we will review the chart next week. But yeah, that's going to be it from me today, guys. And you know, I hope you enjoy the content. You know, send me a message in the chat. Let me know what you think of it, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Happy trading.